What's going on, and welcome back. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, you know what's about to happen with my Mustang GT. If you are new, I've got a 2016 Mustang GT with a 2.9 liter Whipple supercharger and T56 Magnum XL swap transmission. So today I'm going to get into the 15-inch wheel conversion for the S550 Mustang a little bit deeper than what I've seen on YouTube or forums or Facebook or anywhere else. So we're gonna get a little more in depth, like I said, show you how I've done it and show you what the car looks like with the 15-inch rear wheels. Let's go. All right, so first and foremost, I want to cover what is necessary with this swap. Like I said, we're doing a 15-inch rear wheel conversion on an S550 Mustang. Mine was a 2016, but this should apply to any 2015 and up. So if you caught the last video, I had a special guest, T. Hessler, come down and help me out with a couple mods on the car. One of them being the AED knuckles. I'm gonna try to get you in here to get you a shot of those so you can see what they look like, and I'll explain a bit about what we had to do to fit them. So if you look in here, it's hard to see, but this is part of the AED knuckle. All that black anodized is the knuckle. Now these bolt in place just in the factory location. Nothing too special about that. Use the factory fasteners, as you can see. But one thing I want to make note of is they did not come drilled and tapped for this bracket, which holds your emergency brake and your wheel sensor cable here. So it did not come drilled and tapped for that, so I had to do that myself. Just found a small screw, I think it's 1/4 20, drilled a little bit, tapped it, and it works fine. So all right, moving on, we had to run a S197 rotor. So let me explain a little bit about this. So these knuckles, you can utilize your factory calipers, or you can go with the bare brakes drag brake kit for the rear. They do have a specific kit for these knuckles. I opted to go with the factory calipers because I wanted to retain the factory emergency brake, which is this guy right here. With the bare brakes, you lose that. You don't have an emergency brake, and as I've stated before, my car is a manual, so I wanted to keep that. So anyway, in order to use the factory caliper, I had to go with an S197 rotor. So I just picked up a pair for a 2014 Mustang GT, and they seem to work great. I have driven the car, and everything is working great back here. No issues. So I want to get into what all I had to do in order to fit the wheel and the most common areas that you may run into interference. So I do want to show that. Mine seems to be a little bit different than most as to what is interfering with the wheel so far. Now I haven't set the car on the ground, but the suspension is loaded. As you can see, there are jack stands up under the control arms, but it's not, the car is not sitting how it would normally on the ground. So I'm gonna have to put the wheels on, set it on the ground, and then see how it looks there. So anyway, typically this guy right here, this bottom vertical link bolt, typically he has to be ground down, the head of it, so it has clearance. In my case, I didn't need to do that. Kind of strange, but I didn't need to do that in my case. And let's see, up here, I think this bolt sometimes, and let's see. Now I did notice that I am pretty close here with this portion of the control arm, so I may have to do some clearancing there. once the car is down, and I compress the suspension and see if that touches. Now, one thing I did have to do with the calipers, as you can see, it looks like there's some fresh paint on them, and there is. So the reason being is I had to take a little bit off here, very, very minute here, because the inside of the wheel, where the barrel meets the spokes, so to speak, it was touching a little bit, so I did clearance these just a tad. And these brakes, these calipers also have these ribs here. I don't know what you necessarily call them, but they're typically pretty high. I did have to grind those down. No big deal to me. I don't think that messes with the structural integrity of the caliper at all. I don't think that does anything. I would carefully ground them down and ground them down only enough to gain the clearance that I needed. But I do want to be transparent in case anybody seeing this wants to do this conversion, that could be an issue. Maybe, maybe not, depends on the wheel. So I don't think there's anything else right now that I have to discuss, because I don't think I clearanced anything else. It was just the top of that caliper, the front corner here, and that's it. So yeah, so let's get into the wheel that I'll be using. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get them on the car and see what they look like. All right, so if you have been subscribed to the channel, you know what wheels I've been running on this car for drag duty. But if you are new, I am running the JMS Savage, the JMS Chip Savage wheels. This one is a 15x10. And yes, I picked up the tires today, had them mounted. We got some 28, 10.5, 15 Mickey Thompson slicks. I'm running a full slick this year, and this is the stiff sidewall version. So the stiff sidewall, hopefully that will help keep the tire in shape but still wrinkle, because with a manual transmission in a heavy car, they do tend to wrinkle up quite a bit if you use a standard slick or bias ply, and sometimes you can run into issues with getting too much wrinkle, and it can actually cause the tire to lose traction. So hopefully we will combat that this year. I'm switching to a 15-inch wheel to hopefully gain more traction, because last year, as some of you know, I didn't run very great ETs in the quarter, eighth mile or anything. The mile per hour was there, but the ET was not there because the car would either hook and bog or it would blow the tires off. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the wheels. Like I said, 15-inch, 15x10 JMS Chip Savage wheels. And this is the black with the machined part right here. And we've got a plus 44 offset, which gives it a 7.21, I believe, back spacing. 7.21 back spacing, I believe, is what it is. So we've got a good amount of back spacing. I was kind of worried about that, because most of the ones I think that people are running are 6.5-inch back spacing. So I was kind of concerned about that. Everything seems to fit as far as that goes, as far as the back spacing. But like I said, I need to set the car on the ground and you know, see how it looks, see if we touch anywhere. So without further ado, let's get these wheels on the car. Let's set the car down and let's see what this thing looks like. All right, y'all, got the wheels on there, and man, this thing looks sick. I love it. God, this looks so good. Now, I didn't just put the rear wheels on. I had to put one of the fronts on so I get the full effect. So let me back up and let me give you guys the full effect. Man, look at that. It looks so good. Oh my goodness. Let me get down a little bit lower. Oh man, I can't stand it. It looks so good. Man, I cannot wait to get this car to the track. Oh, jeez. It is gonna be fun. The new 456 gears, full slick, 15-inch. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Let me walk around the back side, give y'all a look at the back, or from the back, I should say. Oh my goodness. If that don't get your blood flowing, I don't know what does. But I've got the passenger side on as well. We can go ahead and look at that. Got this side on as well. And still got one of the other street wheels on the front up here, but yeah, that looks so good. The size of that tire just looks amazing to me. I don't know. I think I'm biased though. But yeah, that looks so good. Now I wish I could get you guys underneath the car because I do have to do a little bit more clearancing. I can probably show you when I take the wheels off, and I probably will, but just to kind of explain it real quick, the control arm on this side is real close to the wheel. So I'll need to do a little bit of grinding on there, which isn't a big deal. Typically that's what you have to do with these 15-inch conversions. So not a big deal in my opinion, because it doesn't look like it'll need much. But anyway, let me get these wheels off and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. That way you guys can see, and then that'll have to happen on another day actually. So let me get the wheels off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so real quick to show you what I'm talking about on the control arm, and that is going to be this area right here. The back of the wheel is pretty close to that, so I'm thinking I just need to grind off just a little bit of that and we should be good to go. But yeah, so far that's all that I can see, but I'm sure we'll discover more once I can get the suspension to articulate, and then maybe a little clearance in here and there, we should be good to go. All right, y'all, so that is it, man. That is the 15-inch wheel conversion for S550 Mustangs. Man, I love the look, but I really want, what I'm really after is the performance. So hopefully the 15-inch wheel conversion will help the car to perform in the way that I know it can. So, man, I am super stoked now to get this car on the track, to get the Ford takeover, and hopefully be running some much quicker ETs. But if not, she's sure gonna look good doing it. Anyway, that is gonna do it. If you have any questions about this modification for your S550, leave a comment below and I'll be glad to answer anything that I can. So with that said, hope you like this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, because we got more coming for Project Stepchild by 2016 Mustang GT, and we'll see you on the next one.